Back in the spring, while I was filming my Bluebird video, I opened my junk drawer to find the Mirascope my family had purchased after watching Mark Rober's first squirrel video. I immediately got the bright idea to test it out on the resident Bluebird pair who are accustomed to eating superworms off a special plate in my backyard. I also pranked their fledglings, a mockingbird, and a feral peahen who roams my neighborhood.
This is a concave mirror illusion projection thingy, or a mirascope. It uses concave mirrors to project an image of the item inside onto the surface. You may have seen this before with squirrels and walnuts, but never before with birds and superworms. Living superworms. Boom.
Female Bluebird Leela flies in first to check out my setup. She's a little hesitant, so her mate Fry flies in and makes an attempt. Fry comes in for a second attempt, but strikes out again. Leela tries, but quickly retreats, again unsuccessful. After another quick failed attempt, Leela jumps on top of the mirascope and pulls out a superworm, taking only about a full minute to figure out the trick. Despite having observed Leela's success, Fry was not so slick. Once Leela figured out how to obtain the food, she didn't forget.
Boom.
She came back repeatedly and always quickly got the worm. She stumbles slightly when coming in for the dried mealworms, but quickly recovers her bearings. Fry returns, but kinda just gives up. Five and a half weeks later, I decide to repeat my prank. I start with live superworms and the mirascope, but add a few dried mealworms to attract the Bluebird's attention. Fry flies in first and decides to go for the easy-to-access mealworms. He eyes the superworms, but sticks with the mealworms instead. Before concentrating too hard on the superworms, Fry finished off the mealworms. In the 18 minutes that I had the experiment set up that day, Fry flew in for a total of 9 different times. He eventually gives up without figuring out how to access his prize. female bluebird Leela also initially goes for the easily reachable dried mealworms. However, despite the 5-week time jump, she quickly remembers the trick to obtaining the superworms. She returned several times during the day's 18-minute experiment. And she manages to get several superworms. She brings the vast majority of the superworms to her new brood of chicks. But I do manage to catch her indulging on one. Fry and Leela's 10-week-old fledglings decide to stop by as well, but they are quickly chased away by their dad. Now that Fry and Leela are raising a subsequent brood of chicks, they no longer want the first brood to invade their territory. Fry repeatedly chases his fledglings away from the food. It's unlikely the young birds would have figured it out anyway. We have one final songbird contender. Did you catch that? That's the northern mockingbird, known as the bully of all songbirds, and maybe also for their beautiful variety of songs. He's very intrigued by my setup and is fooled by the illusion several times. Leela briefly gets back at him.
Give it to me! No, it's mine!
He tries but fails to steal her worm. Leela scores all 12 of the superworms that were offered to the songbirds over both days of the experiment. The mockingbird finds a dried mealworm in the moat, but never does figure out the trick to the Mirascope. Last, we have a feral peahen who roams the neighborhood. I call her Lady, short for Lady Peacock. Lady's passions include eating superworms, triggering my Ring doorbell, jumping, biting my fingers,
Ow! Ow!
harassing the squirrels, and stalking Shelly, the 9-banded armadillo. Lady seems a little confused by Shelly's nonchalance and awkward cuteness. Since she loves superworms, I thought Lady might enjoy participating in my superworm prank, so I set it up to gauge her reaction. At first, she was fooled by the projected illusion, but she quickly figured it out. However, unlike Leela, she wasn't consistent and often forgot the trick to obtaining the worms. But usually, she got her prize pretty quickly. She seemed happy enough to stick around and play my silly games. She finally got more consistent at obtaining the superworms. And when I repeated the experiment a few weeks later, she very quickly figured it out again. Although it may be attributed to her approaching the Mirascope at the correct angle rather than remembering the trick. Over both days, Lady obtained all 17 superworms that I offered her in the Mirascope.
Click here for more Bluebirds or here for a goofy science experiment.